Hello, everybody. This is Carol from Friendly Quail. I'm working on a layout page for my sampler video, and I'm gonna, I'll be taking you through a couple of the things. Some of them I've already done, and the rest I'm gonna do in front of you. But I think it'll be pretty explanatory, self-explanatory. I need to adjust my camera just a tad so that I've got everything in. Okay, that's better. Thank you for being patient, and thank you for being here today. Really appreciate all of your support. Um, for this layout, this is what page is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It took pages from an Edith Holden book, and actually I think these are from two different ones. I picked May because that's my birthday. It's in May, and I had some, and I just took some that didn't have any pictures on or anything. It was just, they were just writing on both sides, and I glued those on for my pages. This is a pocket that is also, I had it, these clips holding it on. It's glued on already. This is a vellum pocket, but I have something fat, and I'll show you this later, but I put that in there so when I glued it on, it gave enough space for that. And on the back cover of the book was a picture of Edith Holden. And I've been making portrait cards lately, so I thought that why not make it into a portrait card? And that one is going to go in back here. So everything will fit. But there's a couple of things I want to show you. I want to show you something I'm going to do to this to help keep the picture from getting, it's because it's glossy paper too, from getting the picture fingerprints and things like that on it. So this is already glued on. This is an envelope, an altered envelope. It's a floating pocket, and I made these in my my journal, or my 12 days of pockets video. This was a floating pocket, it's called. And then I took the spine from one of the Edith Holden books and cut it down. I had used the cover to make a journal, so I kept this book cloth that was on the spine, and I glued it down. First I actually glued it onto a piece of cardstock to make it more sturdy, and then I glued it on a piece of this ribbon that has it looks like this. So right now, putting that on, only a little bit of the lace sticks out. This burlap shows, and I wanted to show you this ribbon has wire in it. So I kind of went like this, and I got the wire to come out, and I'm taking it out. I don't need it in here for this belly band. It'll be fine the way it is. Sometimes this is really thin wire. Sometimes that comes in handy, so I have a container that I throw it in just in case. Now because this again is something that's heavier, when I cut it, I put this in here so that this would have enough, if I cut this to the edge and I glue it there, that this is going to have enough space. It's got a little bit of space there, so that'll have enough space for this to fit in there. And I put it to the side so I wouldn't cover May, and well, I'll show you some other reasons why, but let's get this glued on here. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and then that'll also keep it from fraying, and I'll clip it. So I'm just putting some glue along the bottom edge of this. I'm going to get that onto the edge here. And straight as I can. And then I'm going to clip this on while it dries. Okay. Another thing I want to do on this page is I'm going to put this so that it peeks out when this is in here. Move that down a little bit. Okay. Okay, I had it right. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to kind of make it so, well, like right about here, so that it shows, so I am going to have something up here later too. So I may as well put that in. I didn't distress the fern. I distressed almost everything else ahead of time. I just decided to leave this color without distress on it. I'm getting art glitter glue on all of the little peaks so that it's glued down well. Okay. There. So I kind of put it around the hole so that this would show. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to let that dry. Now I'm also going to make a paperclip magnet and a few other things, but I want to show you what I do with pictures like this. I have a box that I spray in. I have 3 of them actually, and I'm going to be using a spray finish, and it is matte, so it might cut down that shine a little bit, but it will also protect it. This is what I'm using. It's matte finish, Rust-Oleum. So I'm getting that off. I shook it a little bit before I started filming. I'm going to cover my glue back up too. Okay. Now I want to do light. Now sometimes I would say most of the time I do this outside because it does have an odor. But I hold it about 10 inches up and I spray covering the whole thing. And then I don't touch it and I let it dry. So that is going away. It really does smell, which is why I usually do it outside. But I couldn't show you that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the magnet part, I'm doing a double-sided magnet, because I have to let some things dry in between. So I did start it already. I took 2 pieces of cardstock and made them the size that I wanted my double-sided magnet thing to be. And I decided to put a little notebook on the outside, and that one's actually going to go on like up here. And so the notebook will show on this side. And on the other side, I'm going to do a snippet. That's on this page 3. So that'll have a little snippet up here because there was space. So I thought, why not? But I am doing it. I put the pages together and I did stitch them together to hold it. And I have them all distressed and all that. And then I took a little piece of fabric and I glued this on and I did a zigzag stitch to hold it on. Now I'm going to do this side, and I got to make sure that I'm doing it the right direction, so it's the right size, because these are the same size. Now I'm going to put a little glue on the top of this. I will also be sewing that. When I put it on so there's a little bit of a gap. That's the part that goes over the page. Now you can just fold it and put it over the page too, but this gives you that little bit of a leeway. So I got some glue that came through, so I'm going to let this dry before I stitch it. So meanwhile, this is going to go in the pocket, and I said I'd show you later. This is made from a book page. This is all one size. This was from a German book, and I folded it in half, folded my ends underneath. And then, because the writing was upside down on this side, I took a page from another book and I glued a piece on each side. It's stitched down the middle, and this is also just decoration on here. I used some paper, a washi sticker, and a label. Now on one side I also have a label in here. I had this in my stash. This was a collage type tag, and it was a nice size, so I thought, but I needed something for this side, and so I'm making this little card that's going to go in it. I'm wondering how we're doing with drying it. I think it's almost dry, and I think I could put the magnet on, the glue at least one side of the magnet on. And let that dry. Our glitter glue works the best for this as well. It's very strong. So I'm putting it kind of in the middle, up a little bit from the bottom. And I'm going to let that dry before I put the other one on. Meanwhile, back to this. I decided I was going to put this on this side of the little book. I cut a whole bunch of die cuts last week. Just took one day, and just all day all I did was die cut. So I've got quite a stash, and I really like using them, but I tend not to get it out when I just want to do one. So I thought, well, I'll do a whole bunch. I'm going to put this on here. They're thin. They're very decorative looking, but they're thin, because I'm using the lightweight cardstock. And I like that, kind of was that olivey green. So I'll set that aside here, and I'm going to make a little tag for this side. So I distress dyed this kind of, because I tried to tea dye it one day and it didn't work too well because my tea wasn't dark enough. So while it was wet, I used my vintage photo, and I put some of that on here, and it kind of looks cool. It separates into different colors. And then after it was dry, I distressed around the edge. So I have a washi sticker here that I'm going to use, and thought at one point I had this up. A lot of times I use my my X-Acto knife, and I just kind of get the edge to come up, because these can be a pain. And I did distress over this to cut the white down just a little bit. When you take them off, be careful they don't curl up. And I'm putting this on at an angle here, and some of it is going to go off the end, and I'm going to clip it off. Okay. I could have put glue on that too, but these washi stickers stick pretty well. A lot of times with washi tape I glue it. So I'm just kind of doing the edge, or those little pieces that were hanging over the edge. I cut them off. Alright, I have a stamp with a bunny, and I'm going to put him on right here. And again, I'm going to glue it on. I did distress it before. I hate making people wait while I distress things. I'm going to just kind of put it on kind of straight. And then I have a tiny little label. And I'm going to add that on. I should remind myself who these labels are from, because they have butterflies on it and stuff. I'll put that on at a slight angle. Yeah. And then I cut a little piece of pearl cotton. Don't want anything real bulky. This book's going to be bulky enough. And that is going in here. So now that little booklet is done, and that will go in here. Edith will go on the back, and now we're going to make the rest of the magnet. Now while that's still drying, but it's pretty stuck on, I cut a piece of paper that I'm going to put on the inside here, and it'll cover the magnet, and it will also be a little hidden journaling spot for a real tiny little thing. So I think what I'm going to do is glue this on to this side. Alright. Now I do have to make sure that I get, so if you write, you have to write around the magnet. They're as thin as I could get. On this side, yeah, okay. Should have stitched that. Well, not going to be stitched. What I'm going to do is find my other magnet, and if I put it on like this, it'll go right where it needs to go, the right direction. I'm going to put glue, lots of glue, on the magnet, and I'm going to glue the paper at the same time. All right, and then I can close this up. I'm ripping my paper because I'm trying to. Okay. Make sure that it was down, and instead I ended up ripping it a little bit. I usually use cardstock to do that. I should have. It's just not wanting to do. Might have to put cardstock on. I think I will. I'm going to rip it open. I just don't like that. And, well, I took it off. I could sew the other side. That's a bright side. And then get the rest of this off. As long as I have it off, I'm going to go quick and stitch this side here. I'll be right back. I'm going to take 2 shakes of the lamb's tail. Okay, now I got it sewed on, which I wanted to do in the first place. Serendipity. We work with what we get. Okay, I have some more of this cardstock. I'm going to cut a piece that will fit on that. So it is 4 inches, about an eighth more than 4 inches because of that addition, by about 1 3/4. All right, 1 3/4. By 4. Get this out of the way. This will work better. I am going to fold it ahead of time. I lost my magnet. Must have threw it out with the trash. Oh well. I will have to get another one out. It's probably stuck on something. But I'll have to let that dry again. So after I get it dry, I will put this on, glue it on, then I'll put the magnet on and glue the other side, and that'll be that. And I don't know if I'll be able to do that on this video, but I will do it just like I showed you, but with cardstock instead of paper, because it works much better. Now I'm also going to make a little snippet for the other side. That's going to go on this side. So I got out a piece of fabric. I'll just put this to show you. A green, kind of that mossy green, a little bit of that fabric that I use for the ruffle in the front. And I'm cutting up a knitted doily. I'm going to piece of this. And that will go on here. So first I'm going to put a little bit of glue to put it together where I want it. Okay. Now I'm going to put a button on this, and I picked out a button that would go with that, and I've got some of that pearl cotton. I've got a needle on it. I'm going to figure out where I want the button and hang on to it better. Go through all the layers, leave an end, come back up the other side of the button, if I can figure out where it is. Okay. And then I'm going to tie a knot, left over right, right over left. Got a square knot. Cut off my ends. And now when I'm ready for the, it'll get glued on the front of right onto here. So decide which way I want it on. And it'll get glued on there. But I'm not going to glue it on until the magnet's on. Okay. Still wet. I tried to do it too fast too. So I'm going to get on another magnet. It's really fun getting this open because the magnets hold it shut. Even though they're not stuck on the lid, it's so strong. Alright, and I'm going to get another magnet out. I'm going to look for that other magnet yet later, but not right now. it on like that. We'll get the magnet on this side and then glue it down. See how strong those are? I think what I'm going to do is glue the magnet, put some glue on the magnet, and let it dry, and then I'll be able to take it apart and glue it to the other side. So that's it for today. This will be our page layout with our envelope. This side of the magnet will show up on here, right on here, and we'll have Edith in on this side. I'll take a picture of it when Edith is dry so that I can put the that'll be on the other side, so that I can, you know, show the whole page with everything on it, but I have to let Edith dry. It takes a little bit of time for that to dry. So that's it for pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6 and 7 will be in a couple of days. So thanks for being with me. If you stuck around through all my mistakes, you know, we all do the best we can, and that's all we can do. And I still like to do the videos and teach, even though I'm not perfect, because nobody is. Alrighty, we'll see you. Thanks for being here. Carol from Friendly Quill saying bye.